Hello, it is an absolute pleasure to be here with Tatiana Molcean, the Executive Secretary of the United Nations Economic Commission for Europe. Thank you very much for being here with us. So we are at COP29 at the Net Zero Nuclear Pavilion, and I want to know a little bit about what are your plans for COP29 for UNEC and your countries in your region. Obviously, UNEC has an incredibly diverse set of countries from, North America, Europe, but also Central Asia. So, what are your plans?
Thank you. Very nice to see you also here at COP29. I think we have all a very busy agenda ahead of us. And on the UNICE side, our goals actually align with the goals with the all those who are present here is to drive through cooperation the climate action agenda forward. And for us specifically at UNICE, we are here to see that the tools and instruments and the practices that have been put in place among at UNICE or any other institutions that we make use of those tools. So we'll be talking and engaging a lot when energy transition, decarbonizing the transport sector. And in this case, you've mentioned that we have a very diversified membership. But it's in some sector like the transport and decarbonizing the transport sector, we actually have a more global mandate with countries from around the globe being engaged in this process, and also an energy transition with some instruments that we have at UNECE, like the classification frameworks for resources. Or it's again a practice that has been embraced by not only the UNECE membership but also wider in other regions, including in Africa and Asia Pacific. Uh, Diversity. I mean, diversity and having indeed countries with members with let's say, different in terms of development, different in terms of capacities, resources. It's the perfect way really to make this work. So we will be looking on, for example, sharing experience as we are speaking more about energy today, how countries that have already advanced in this energy transition can really be a good supporter to those who are only at the beginning of the road.
Very good. Yeah, so trying to get the best lessons learned and try to leapfrog some countries into this accelerated transition. So you mentioned that the UNEC has developed a number of tools and instruments such as the United Nations Resource Management System, and as you said, that is being adopted by many other regional UN agencies. So I think this is a very important framework in the context of this COP29 because of the work that we are doing in critical minerals, which of course is essential for the energy and mining industries. So tell us a little bit more about that very important work.
It's indeed a very important part of the work, and as you have mentioned, including today and tomorrow and these days, we'll hear more, not only, let's say, from the regional commissions. By the way, we are having a dedicated event on this topic. I think it's closer to the second week in 19th, discussing exactly how we put in practice, how we better cooperate in leveraging and when it comes to critical minerals. But it's also a call from the Secretary General and the new work group that was created, and and the work that is going under his leadership, let's say, in this field guides us a lot along the process of trying to deliver on more efficient use of critical minerals to really make this for us. It's also about circularity and ensuring that the resources that are used, we address the sustainability challenges in a very efficient way. And this is why you need, I mean, you have to speak the same language. We just cannot call them critical minerals and that's it. And you know how important it is for different parts of the industry, but in particular for the energy sector, including for the nuclear, as we've talked also earlier. It's to really have a good understanding how and where these classification frameworks can, I mean, be applied. So we make analysis based on having the same unit of measure. So then you can predict better what is the impact, what is the climate action on this. So you can both use it in, let's say, in a more responsible and sustainable mining, for example, but you also can use this instruments a lot for analytical, for building really life cycles and analytical capacities. We've been working closely, as you know, with the, as I was saying, with the other regional commissions, because it's not only an effort from yes, it's but also, I mean, with the partners, with the in particular from my colleagues from ECA and ASCAP and also ASQA, and will be because we have now this classifications, basically part of the both the EU new Critical Minerals Act, but also it has been endorsed by the African Union, and it has been, well, I don't know what is the exact term, but I think endorsement or recommended by also Asia Pacific ministers. So that are a few of the practical applications.
No, I think it's very important, as you said, to have a common language. So we are comparing apples and apples, and we are actually again learning from each other as much as possible. I mean, I truly think that UNEC, the United Nations Economic Commission for Europe, has been really pioneering a lot of this work in energy. Of course, you did a couple of years ago. You completed the a carbon neutrality project, and now you are embarking in the electricity resiliency project. So again, lots of work and lots of leadership in that area. So could you tell us a little bit about how those projects are important and how they fit into the work that we are doing here at COP29?
The project in itself on carbon neutrality, it's difficult to say that it's one of those projects that once they are being implemented, they run. I mean, they have a really long run in the sense that the impact that it has, because the strategy and the project itself, it's meant to build strategy for carbon neutral energy systems up until 20. I mean, by 2050. So the goal is also 2050. We haven't yet been. I mean, we're still far away to that process, to that year, I would say, not to that process. So the project helps countries, but not only countries, institutions, to look into what is the best way of achieving this carbon neutrality. Of course, there are different parts of more. It's not only the systemic analysis, you know, of the world, but of each individual sectors that can contribute to this neutrality. We've been talking a lot about electrification, which needs to be done, for example, for buildings sector, also when it comes to the transport sector, which I mentioned earlier. But also, for example, looking at the role that the nuclear is playing in the carbon neutrality strategy. So it's a complex program. I don't even call it project, because it's more than a project. And as I've been saying, that even if let's say the initial targets that we have set were achieved, we are now looking for the next phases of how we can bring forward some of these strategies, and also look into some of more, not only strategic, but also more practical support to those who are applying these tools, these programs, in the daily life.
Well, thank you very much, Tatiana. Thank you for the group, all the work that you are leading at the United Nations Economic Commission for Europe, and thank you for being here with us today at the Net Zero Nuclear Pavilion. Thank you.